that matter, if I get sick of paper and bookshelves, I could turn my reeds into plant balls and have those fueled fire too. So yeah, I've got more scrap boxes, so let's see what I can get. Ooh, another piece of leather. And again, let's melt down these golden helmets. That's pretty sweet, I have to say. It's a nice source of gold, honestly. I mean, not incredibly reliable, but I think it's worth noting that one of the add-ons I added, for some odd reason, is the backpack pot. So I could make backpacks out of leather. I might want to switch to backpacks instead of alchemy bags. They're just cooler and not quite as cheap, because they only have one chest worth of storage. And hey, look at this. Looks like my mob grinder has been performing very, very well. 8 stacks of gunpowder. It's almost 7 stacks of bones. Oh, all those arrows, man. Arrows. Good lord. Save those for the Ender Dragon. Really need to, though. It's a lot of arrows. You know what? I just realized I forgot to name this thing. That's not very characteristic of me. Alright, let's see. Biofuel cells into... Anyway, I'm gonna call this thing Blue Dart's Inefficient Eco-Friendly Energizer. Or Biefe for short. It's a good name there with the inefficiency labeled right there for you to see. Okay, now I got the obligatory naming done. Let's move on to something else. So anyway, to come over here, it looks like I have a decent amount of seeds in here, and I actually took out everything that wasn't a special crop. You know, industrial craft, tier 2 and above, and tier is just how rare it is. So, you know, wheat is tier 1. I think reeds are actually tier 2, but, you know, they don't. It's kind of cheating. But these stick reeds, they're also tier 2, from what I remember. Cocoa, which I don't think I have cocoa, that's tier 3. But all those various flower ones, those are also tier 2 plants. And, you know, I was just breeding those because if you breed a tier 2 plant, you have a better chance of getting cooler plants than if you were to breed tier 1 plants. And I actually ended up getting some of this junk. This is not wheat. This is not hops. These suckers, once they grow up, there's something called red wheat. Okay? And they're really hard to grow here. They grow, but they take a while. And it's kind of lame because they produce redstone, but they grow really, really slowly. They just take their sweet time, and they don't spread easily. I think I need to breed those suckers in like a dark place. Anyway, I have like 2 of those seeds in this, in here. Oh, I have one in here too. So remember when I slime-proofed this little chunk here? Well, I don't think it worked perfectly. I mean, 90-something% of the time, I didn't see any Thaum slimes here. But you know what happened? Yesterday, when I was doing the crop thing for like 5 or 6 hours, I was over here, and you know what happened? Little blue guy hops across this thing, and he comes at me, and I said, "What are you doing?" So I don't know what was going on, but you know, I fixed the junk, and then I put these little fence posts here, right, so that they can't do that again. If he comes over here, he could jump all around the stick reeds all he wants, but he's not getting to my red wheat, alright? No admittance. Keeps him out. Looking at all this junk, it looks like I have a bunch of fragments. And, whew, stack and a half of zombie brains. Good lord, look at this junk. You know what? I think it's time to do some Thaumcraft research. You know, why not? Let's get on it. Let's take some lost knowledge fragments. Let's take some bookshelves. Alright, we got tons of these suckers. Let's throw in books in here, right, on this side. And a lost knowledge fragment up here. Some here, piece of paper. Trying to get something out of this. Aha! Theory, collected wisdom. Torturous. Oh, that's just a jerk move. Why am I mad that this is difficulty torturous? Because difficulty torturous is, well, just what it says. It's torturous. Collected wisdom hard. See? This is not as difficult as torturous, alright? It's not bad. In fact, hard is not really that hard at all. Watch, I can just take it, put it in here. What's the chance of success? 59%, failure 14%, loss 100%. So I'm going to lose the books, but it's a pretty good success chance. Okay, you know what? I feel like I might come out of this with too many bookshelves, so let's just throw bookshelves at it like I intended. Oh, look at that, 65%. Alright, let's just keep going. Oh, look at this, our first discovery. Now, if you're confused as to what I just did, this Quaesitum, which I made before, has several interfaces, and I'll go through them right now. Now, what you saw is I put paper up in this slot, which you can see has a little little space, kind of indicating that, hey, you should put paper here. And what you do is you put paper here, you put your items that you want to research in here, the items that will be lost depending upon the loss rate. So if I let this go, 75% of the books that I put in here will get lost. Now what does that mean? That means every iteration that this thing goes, it has a 6% chance of success with this book to produce something in here. Failure does not come into play until the second stage of research, and so don't worry about it. What you do is this thing's not allowed to go unless you put paper in here. So by putting one piece of paper, this thing will go until it either runs out of stuff in this inventory or it makes something and uses up this piece of paper. Now of course a 6% chance for success is pretty abysmal. That's why I was using these fragments of lost knowledge, which even without any additives already have a 31% chance. Of course there's an 80% chance for loss, so check out what happens if I put books in here. I get a 35% chance for success, and the loss stays the same. Now what that means is each book apparently adds about 2% chance for success. Each bookshelf apparently adds about 4%. So that's pretty nice. Now actually what's happening is each item that is allowed to go in here in these slots, or in this slot too, has its own research value. Now there's an NEI plugin that you can use that will tell you these research values. I am not using it because every time I use it, it runs, it's a very buggy plugin, and I'm not going to use it. Okay? Let's just leave it at that. Anyway, these fragments of lost knowledge, which I've already showed you how I generated them in mass, which you're probably not supposed to do, are required to be put in here, and they're really the only way to get the theories. So let's just try and get another one. Oh, theory, potency, enchantment, difficulty, hard. Right. So, this is your theory. The thing about these is actually, you don't have to worry so much about losing them like you do your fragments. Although, there's still a chance that they will get destroyed. Now, I could just leave this in here with the one piece of paper, and it'll go along. 49% chance of success, 14% chance of failure, and 100% chance of loss. Now, this loss chance does not apply to this theory, potency, enchantment, okay? It instead applies to these items here, okay? Watch. They go down by one every single time. Now, the success here, 65%, means that each of these four little dots here, this progress bar, can go up 65% of the time. 14% of the time, instead of going up, it will go down one. And there is a small chance that if it goes down all the way that it can fail again and you'll lose it. But that is slim and generally only happens on like torturous. And honestly, if you're really worried about resources, I wouldn't put anything in here while you're researching it. Alright? Anyway, as you saw, this thing finished. It succeeded. It got to the last one and succeeded again, and I got discovery, potency, enchantment. And this is how you get new Thaumcraft items. Now you see I have two discoveries here. Just put one in my hand and right-click them. And now I know how to make collected wisdom. Now upgrades are a very advanced topic of Thaumcraft that I'm not going to get to now. I have this, I know it, and now I never have to learn it again. Right-click this, I mean you hear that little ding? It says you can now make, right there, this one, and now this is an enchantment, which, so I'm getting a lot of enchantment related stuff off the bat. That's kind of weird. Area of effect or number of blocks affected. Interesting. So yes, it adds a unique type of enchantment that you can get. I believe you have to use the special enchantment tables that they add, which, you guessed it, I have to discover them. I'm going to come back to here where I'm using books to try and discover things, and I'm just going to throw one piece of paper in here so I get something out of it. And I really don't want to make both of these go at the same time because there's a chance that it could give me the same type of discovery. And what it does when it gives you a new discovery here, you see, Everfull Earn Difficulty Easy, is it pulls from the pool of discoveries that you have yet to discover. So if you have, say, 12 Quaesidoms running doing this jive that I'm doing over there, then it has a good chance that you get duplicates of the same thing, which is a real waste of resources. So, you know, doing it one at a time like this is pretty useful. But there's still a reason why I have two Quaesidom. And now you saw that this one was easy, and I didn't throw anything in here, and it just zipped along, just lickety-split. The difficulties make a severe difference. If you're wondering, this is not a crafting table recipe. This is made in something called an infuser, which I have yet to make. Anyway, let's try to get something else. Alright, theory, Dawnstone, difficulty moderate. 80% chance of success. That's sick. I mean, I've got the bookshelves. Besides, if I get all this junk and then use up all my bookshelves, I can stop producing them. Oh, discovery, Dawnstone. Oh look, my textures are messed up. I'll fix it later. When broken after midday, this small glowing stone is able to speed up the passage of time until the next dawn. Those are fun, actually. Now, you may be saying, okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. I mean, you're going to have to hold on to all these. You're going to have to remember all the recipes. If you want to make it, you have to make a chest. You have to put all of them in it. You have to pull out the one you want. You know what? There's an easier way. Check this out. Piece of paper and 4 discoveries of any type. Don't worry. I'll retain the knowledge of them, even if I use them up. Okay, it's actually a book. And then I get a Thaumcraft. I feel wrong. Anyway, right-click on this sucker, and you have a nice interface where you can click on the tabs of all the different types of stuff you've discovered. I've only discovered lost knowledge, okay? You know, it's not that hard, because it was just lost, and you just have to find it again, okay? That's not hard, but, you know, forbidden knowledge, well, it's forbidden for a reason, okay? I mean, you try that junk, you probably lose a leg, or maybe a brother, and then you have to transmute your soul into a suit of armor. I mean, it's nasty junk, okay? Don't try it. I can see all the stuff, and now I know this, and I can just keep this sucker around and just right-click him, alright? Convenient. Charm of life, difficulty hard. Now this collected wisdom that's torturous, it's useless to me for 2 reasons. 1, I already have the darn thing, so there's no need to discover it again. In fact, if I tried, it just wouldn't do anything. And 2, it's torturous. I'm not gonna even try. That's the hardest difficulty, and honestly, let's just take a look at the numbers over here, alright? Unadorned, this has a 5% chance of success, and a 30% chance of failure. I put this sucker in here, I'm gonna lose it. It's just gonna do it, and it's actually gonna lose itself, because the chance of failure is so much greater than the chance of success. It's just gonna go. It's gonna be gone. I mean, it might take a few iterations, but it's just gonna be gone. And I don't really care. So after I discover this charm of life, and this 150 Vis is the, I'm going to call it Thaumcraft energy, and you pretty much have to either take it out of the aura, local aura, or melt down a bunch of junk you have to get Vis, and I'll show you that later. So there's the discovery, and I don't have much use for these things. I really don't. So I'm going to take both this theory, collected wisdom, and this discovery, charm of life, and use it to slightly boost the success chance of my fragments, and they'll just be gone. And then they're gone, and I don't have to worry about them. Although, you know, now that I think about it, the theories that I don't want can be burned for V, so I think that's what I'll do next time. I don't know about the discoveries, I doubt it. Alright, so you get the idea. I'll work on this for another, 3 or 4 hours, and I'll tell you what I get. Well, it happened. I was making a fragment of lost knowledge, and I got another fragment of lost knowledge. And an eldritch fragment. That's great. Anyway, the reason that happened is because I have actually exhausted all of the things I could discover from the lost branch for now. Got 34 out of 37. Good amount of the work is done with all the discoveries now, but there's still some more stuff to do. I mean, I've got to get all of these. Forbidden, Tainted, Eldritch, although you can see there's not quite as many. Now, the annoying thing is, even though I have a crazy amount of fragment of lost knowledge, in fact, so many, let's just throw a stack in here and try to get some other types of fragments, that I just don't have quite as many of the other types. As you can see, I've got Forbidden Knowledge Fragments, Tainted Knowledge Fragments, and Eldritch. And as you can see, I've kept all the theories and didn't use any of them that were tricky or torturous, because those, it just didn't seem worth it, because I had tons of fragments, you know, and not quite as many bookshelves, although, look, I've got tons of bookshelves. In fact, here we go, I can also use these distorted skulls for stuff too. Alright, so now let's take some Forbidden Knowledge fragments, okay, and let's just check here. What is the success chance? 31%. Now if I throw 2 bookshelves, it goes up to 35. What about if I throw 2 distorted skulls in? 41. Well, these are pretty important, so let's throw some distorted skulls in here. Forbidden. What if I get a bonus for the type? Success 41%. Let's just try and get something out of this. Forbidden. And remember, these distorted skulls I got for free from my mob crusher. Alright. Vampiric enchantment, difficulty hard. So I stuck all the discoveries I got in here. Made tons of these things, and I'm not going to go over each of them right now. Tell you what, I'll go over each of them when I use them, alright? Well, here we go. Discovery Vampiric Enchantment. Now, this is so let's try and get something out of that. Abysmal chance, really, but, you know, let's just give it a try. Nope. Okay, let's try to get tainted here. I need some tainted stuff. 31% chance. Are these good for tainted? Yeah, these are best for forbidden, actually. So we're gonna take some tainted, throw bookshelves at it. Try to get something out of this. Oh, beautiful. Thaumium reinforced tank, easy. And easies are pretty much freebies, you know, that use junk on them. Not really. Oh, and by the way, these bookshelves around it are increasing the chances of success by a bit. So, you know, it's a good idea to surround it with a good amount of bookshelves. I mean, I could put more on them, but design wouldn't really lend itself to that, and I think the extra small chance isn't that big of a deal, especially since I could throw bookshelves at these things. Advanced Biefe valve, eh? Okay, what did this thing make? Let's see. It took about half a stack of paper. It made me 28 more fragments of lost knowledge. 5 more eldritch, 2 more tainted, 2 more forbidden. Not bad, not bad. Just throw in another stack of lost. Feast Purifier Torturous. Oof. Well, it's worth a stack or 2 of bookshelves for me, just because I don't have that many tainted knowledge things. So give it a try, give it a go. Oh, good lord. Never mind, look. Success 13. That's not gonna work. That's just not gonna work. I don't know why the numbers are so abysmal for this one, but this one is not gonna work. Yeah, that's even with bookshelves. You're kidding me. Okay, fine, I'll give you a few minutes. If you magically work, then that's great. Seriously doubt it. Oh, look, it went down. Surprise, surprise. Back and forth, back and forth. Okay, it keeps going up and down. See, this is why they call it torturous. It's just so hard to watch. You're not really supposed to watch these, though. You're supposed to go and do something else. Failure's higher than success chance, so that sucks. Okay. This guy went back down to 1. Now, you know what? You're done. Screw you. Torturous difficulty. Giving me that. You're a jerk. Just gave me the exact same thing I said no to. That is evil. Woo! Tricky. Ooh, 31% 35. That's almost tame in comparison. To be continued. I was over here, and you know what happened? Little blue guy hops across this thing, and he comes at me, and I said, "What are you doing?"